Hey, it's Superheavy Samurai support. I don't know who asked for this, but you know what? I'll take it. 34% of you guys just seem to hate me. Come on, smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so we can climb up to the 110,000 ladder here. So Superheavy Samurai for Cyberstorm Access. You know what? I genuinely am surprised to see this wave of support, but alright, so we got Superheavy Samurai bike. And for those of you that are probably like, huh? We got support? Yes. This is the archetype that hates having spells and traps in the graveyard. Actually got support, which is pretty amazing. So you can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. So if you have no spell and traps in your graveyard, you can discard this card to add a Superheavy Samurai from your deck to your hand, except for Samurai Bike. Huh. So they got another searcher. That's honestly probably what they needed. Once per turn, you can target one machine monster you control that has a level and increase its level by 2. Honestly, that's not horrible. It's weird to give this deck support because you have to do everything through the monsters in order to give it power-ups, because once again, you can't have spells and traps. The deck is literally allergic to having those spells and traps down, or at least, you know, you could give them like an in-house sec as light. I think that would probably be like the best approach, you know, like you can, you know, draw 2 cards and banish this card from your graveyard to do something. Something like that wouldn't be awful. And then we got Superheavy Samurai Spy. 200 attack, 700 defense. Well, you know, straight away that's machine dupable. You can only special summon with this first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Okay. If you have no spell and traps in your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. Wow, they just love giving this deck extenders. If you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard, quick effect, you contribute this card and target one spell and trap card in your opponent's graveyard, set it to your field, but banish it when it leaves the field. That is not restricted to Superheavy Samurai. I just want to point that out. You do not, you just can't have any spell and trap cards in your graveyard when you apply that effect. That is kind of interesting. I guarantee there's going to be some application, some level of cheese with that, because reading that card, having it be that generic, is pretty good. Interesting. I love generic Superheavy Samurai support because this isn't going to totally be unfair later on. Let's see here. Superheavy Samurai Soul Gate Buster. Oh, level 400. Okay. Let's see. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. So we can target one Superheavy Samurai monster we control. Equip this card from your hand or field to it. Comes treated as a tuner. I mean, okay, sure. If you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard, while this card is equipped to a monster by its own effect, you can special summon this card. That is how many extenders now that we got? You got the discard searcher, which doesn't do anything. The top one special summons itself and then lets you get a spell and trap. And then this lets you equip, it becomes a tuner, and then you can go ahead and unequip and special summon this. It itself, it is also not a tuner. I don't know how I feel about that. I do think maybe if this would have been a tuner, this might have been a little bit better, or it could have ended up a little bit more busted. But once again, Superheavy Samurai, you have to do everything through your monsters. So, another extension option for the deck. Okay, sure. See, we have pendulums here. I know we mentioned pendulums. That's a wall of text. Alright, so this is Flutist, high skill 8. Okay. So, the Superheavy Samurai Prodigy Wakushi. So, 1100 attack, 1500 defense. You can only use a pendulum to pick this card once per turn. So if you have no spell and traps in your graveyard, you can place one Superheavy Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum zone, except for what? Oh, and then special summon this card. Oh, come on! I wanted to be able to set up pendulum scales with this. If this was just a 1-card place this and then bring out another pendulum scale, that would have been amazing. I also noticed this. Okay, you can only pendulum summon pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. This does not lock you into pendulums either, or excuse me, doesn't lock you into Superheavy Samurai. Okay. Monster effect here. You can only use first, second effect this card's monster name once per turn. So if you have no spells or traps in your graveyard, discard one monster, special summon one Super Heavy Samurai monster from your hand or deck in defense position. You can special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for Super Heavy Samurai monsters. That is pretty good, actually. This thing being a level 4 tuner actually is really good. If this card is used as synchro material and added to the extra deck, you can place it in your pendulum zone. Alright, never mind. That fixes my entire problem that I had with this special summoning itself out. So basically, you place this, bring out another pendulum into the zone. This will special summon itself. You'll apply your effect of, you can discard a monster, special summon the Super Heavy Samurai. Go ahead and synchro, do whatever. This returns back to your pendulum scale, and then you can do a pendulum summon. Problem here is that is still, still burning 2 cards. This plus what you're discarding to set up. So that's a lot of dedication there. But this card is very solid, actually. I like this. This is our other pendulum here. So this is Super Heavy Samurai Monk Warrior Big Benki. And of course, the bigger they are, the smaller the scale. That is 3,500 defense. What? So if you control a Super Heavy Samurai, you can add one Super Heavy Samurai soul monster from your deck to your hand. That is not a bad pendulum scale effect. That is going to give you your searchability options that you want to see for this deck. Excellent. You can only use the first effect of this monster's card's name once per turn. So if you have no spells and traps in your graveyard, you can send one Super Heavy Samurai Big Benki from your hand or deck to the graveyard to do special summon this card from your hand. Okay. That is not bad. This card is used as synchro material and added to the extra deck. You can place this in your pendulum zone. Okay, so this is also going to self-replace itself. They did an excellent job with these 2 pendulum monsters. Amazonas monsters are scoffing at how good these 2 cards are for support. Meanwhile, the Amazonas support's like, hee, we suck. But good stuff. These universal scales, actually pretty good. I'm glad to see that at least this gives you a replacement engine. Alright, is this the big one? This is the one that makes, looks like Bastion or whatever his name was. 2,100, 4,000. Is this a level 12? I think this is. Yep, level 12 Earth Synchro. So 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner, completely generic. This card can attack while in defense position, and if it does, you apply its defense during damage calculation. So, very, very standard Super Heavy Samurai clause. If a Super Heavy Samurai monster or monsters you control be destroyed by battle card effect, you destroy one Super Heavy Samurai you control instead. So we have a pretty big protection clause on that. Once per turn, your opponent activates a spell or trap card, you can draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. Ha! They gave Super Heavy Samurai... Imagine if this card actually said, negate that effect and then draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. This is very interesting. They gave you a replacement combo line, but spell or trap card or effect. I think that this is fine for the deck. Interesting interaction points, though, for this deck, for sure. And then we have the last one. This is a Pendulum Synchro monster. They actually gave us another Pendulum monster, which is actually pretty good. So it is, what? 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner to make this. So our Pendulum effect. You only use Pendulum effect this card's name once per turn. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card. Then if you have a no spell and traps, change that opponent's monster's attack to 0. And its effects become negated. That's actually not bad. Our monster effect here. This card can attack while in face-up defense position. And you will, in fact, apply its defense, 2,500. No surprise there. Once per turn during the battle phase, if you control this synchro summoned card, quick effect, you can summon one Super Heavy Samurai card from your graveyard, or face-up spell and trap card, and then place this card in your pendulum zone. Okay, that's actually not bad. Just an observation, the connection to sumo and pro wrestling, I think, is more of Go Nizuka's heavy, strong, steadfast sumo deck, where the excessive innovation tends to be viewed as hearsay. Very codified sport where it's wrestling is more fluid and innovation. Hey, that is true. There's a lot of ties here for the aspects of sumo. I'm not gonna lie, I'm genuinely impressed with this support. Does it make this deck like crazy good? No, but like this is the level of support that you need to give to a deck. You can tell that they were very, very, very careful with this, which I think is fun. This card has some interesting potential here. So what do you guys think about this support? Please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.